A single, fleeting glance in a hallway was all it took to seal one woman's fate. That brief moment of eye contact between two strangers would unravel into one of the most complex digital murder investigations in modern history, a case where nothing was as it seemed and the real victim was framed as the villain for years. Cari Farver was the kind of person whose presence was immediately felt in any room she entered. Friends described her as having an infectious laugh and a genuine warmth that made people feel comfortable around her. She wasn't just socially gifted. She possessed a brilliant, analytical mind perfectly suited for her work as a computer programming analyst. At West Corporation in Omaha, she had landed what many would consider a dream job, commuting daily from her small hometown of Macedonia, Iowa. But despite her professional success and vibrant social life, her entire world revolved around her teenage son Max. She was the kind of devoted mother who rearranged her schedule to never miss a school event or band concert. Her life appeared orderly, stable, and full of promise, until the day she agreed to house-sit for a man she'd only just begun dating, a decision that would place her directly in the path of unimaginable danger. Dave Kropa, an auto shop manager, had recently moved to Omaha seeking a fresh start after a long-term relationship ended. He entered the dating scene with clear boundaries. He wanted companionship without commitment, no strings attached. He made this perfectly clear to Liz Gollier, a single mother of two, who ran her own cleaning business. Liz claimed to understand and accept his casual dating rules, but secretly she wanted permanence and exclusivity. Then everything changed when Dave met Cari Farver. Their connection was instant, powerful, and mutually enthralling. For the first time since his relationship ended, Dave found himself questioning his own no-commitment policy. With Cari, there seemed to be real potential for something more substantial, something lasting that he hadn't anticipated finding. After a dinner date in late October 2012, Dave and Cari returned to his apartment, still buzzing with that new relationship energy. That's when Liz Gollier appeared unannounced at his door, claiming she needed to collect some belongings she'd left there. In the narrow hallway, Cari and Liz passed each other, a transaction that lasted no more than 10 seconds. Cari seemed to think little of the awkward encounter. But for Liz, those brief moments sparked a fire of obsessive jealousy that would quickly blaze out of control. What followed was a meticulously planned campaign of digital terror designed to eliminate a rival and conceal a horrific crime. Just days after that hallway encounter, Cari Farver completely vanished from her life. Almost immediately, bizarre texts began flooding Dave's phone from Cari's number. The messages swung wildly from declarations of love and proposals to move in together to venomous hatred and final rejections. When Dave returned home from work the evening of November 13, 2012, all of Cari's belongings had been removed from his apartment. Her clothes, laptop, personal items. Everything was gone as if she'd never been there. Her employer received a text message stating Cari was quitting her job and oddly recommending Liz Gollier as her replacement. For Cari's mother, Nancy Rainey, these messages immediately raised red flags. The punctuation was consistently wrong, the grammar was sloppy, and the sheer cruelty expressed was completely out of character for her daughter. Cari was meticulous in her written communication, and she would never voluntarily abandon her son. Despite Nancy's desperate pleas, law enforcement initially dismissed Cari's disappearance as a probable case of a bipolar individual going off her medication. They claimed it was common for people with mental health diagnoses to voluntarily disappear, ignoring Nancy's insistence that this wasn't her daughter's pattern. Max, who had just turned 15, tried to verify his mother's identity through Facebook with personal questions only she could answer. He received no response. As Thanksgiving passed, then Cari's birthday, then Christmas, the family's dread deepened. When Nancy's husband passed away in December and Cari didn't attend the funeral, Nancy knew with certainty that something was desperately wrong. Her daughter would never miss such an important family event. Meanwhile, Dave Kropa found himself living in a state of constant terror. The harassment campaign escalated into a relentless digital assault comprising thousands of texts and emails. The messages demonstrated terrifying specificity. They described what he was wearing, what he was eating in restaurants, and his exact locations. Threats were made against his children, keeping him in a perpetual state of hypervigilance. He changed his phone numbers multiple times, but the tormentor always found a way to reach him. Liz Gollier also appeared to be a target, receiving threatening messages supposedly from Cari. When Liz's house was set on fire, killing all 4 of her pets, emails arrived claiming Cari was responsible. The digital harassment operation was so extensive, involving over 60 fake email accounts and tens of thousands of messages, that it essentially represented a full-time job for the perpetrator. For nearly 3 years, the small community of Macedonia believed Cari Farver was a dangerous stalker who had abandoned her son. Her reputation was systematically destroyed while the truth remained buried beneath layers of digital deception. The case grew cold until 2015, when Sergeant Jim Doty and Deputy Ryan Avis from the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office volunteered to reopen the investigation. They approached the mystery from complementary angles, one working to prove Cari was still alive, the other to prove she was dead. They immediately recognized the significance of Cari's completely dormant bank accounts, something highly unusual for an adult voluntarily disappearing. The investigators brought in digital forensics expert Anthony Carver, who would eventually donate thousands of hours to the case. Carver began analyzing phone data from 2013 that had never been properly examined. Right away, he identified that Liz Gollier had been posing as Cari Farver. He traced thousands of threatening emails directly back to Liz's residences, including the house that later burned down. He discovered photos on Liz's phone of Cari's vehicle, taken a full month before police located the car. Most crucially, he matched the single mysterious fingerprint found in Cari's car back to Liz Gollier. Despite this mounting evidence, they still lacked a body, a murder weapon, or any crime scene evidence. The investigators decided to play a strategic long game, pretending to believe Liz's increasingly elaborate stories. When Liz shot herself in the thigh and claimed Dave's ex-girlfriend had attacked her, investigators pretended to take her story at face value. They asked for her help gathering evidence against their suspect, and Liz took the bait. Over the following year, she sent 13 confession emails purportedly from another person, containing details only the killer would know. These emails described Cari being stabbed 3 or 4 times in her own vehicle, her body being wrapped and burned, and disposal in trash bags. Most chillingly, they mentioned a yin-yang tattoo on Cari's hip, a detail never released to the public, known only to someone who had seen her body. The final, gruesome breakthrough came from an old tablet that Dave provided to investigators. On a micro SD memory card that had been in Liz's possession, Carver discovered deleted thumbnail images, trophy pictures the killer had taken of her victim. One photo showed a dead person's foot with a distinctive Chinese character tattoo. Nancy Rainey immediately identified it as the exact tattoo on Cari's left foot, the symbol for mother. A medical examiner confirmed the foot belonged to a deceased person. This heartbreaking discovery, combined with Cari's blood found soaked deep into the foam of her passenger seat, provided the undeniable physical evidence needed to secure a conviction. Liz Gollier was arrested in December 2016 and charged with first-degree murder. In a calculated gamble, she waived her right to a jury trial, hoping to conclude the proceedings before a body could be found. The strategy backfired spectacularly. Based on overwhelming digital and physical evidence, the judge found her guilty of first-degree murder and arson, sentencing her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. After nearly 4 years, Cari Farver's name was finally cleared. Her son, Max, now works as an application developer, honoring his mother's legacy in technology. The Cari Farver Memorial Scholarship supports information technology students at Iowa Western Community College, ensuring her story ends not in tragedy, but in a legacy of hope and education. If you are captivated by this intricate story of digital deception and ultimate justice, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more profound explorations into the truth behind the headlines.